All right, guys. So, yeah, once again, this is a continuation of the first video recording that I'm going to post on YouTube today. The first video recording, it's about 33 minutes long. I'm going to have it published on YouTube very soon, and then this one. But anyway, my children, my black children, biracial and African American in general, and some will be Afro-Caribbean, and some will be purely African, and some will be of African and Asian descent, and so forth. But my children will be the first class of black agents, auditors, and analysts in the CIA, for the CIA, and they're going to be backed by INTERPOL. Miami is going to be the center of the Americas. Is going to be the nominal capital of the Americas. Is going to be the capital of the Americas, and the future union of the Americas itself. Okay? So that's where I'm going to train. That's where the Central Intelligence Agency is going to train my children. And they're certainly going to have genius genetics. They're going to either be brilliant, speedy, or genius-like. Okay? Their mothers, all of their mothers are intelligent women or very good at nurturing children into being responsible, into steering far away from criminality and stuff of that nature. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to work out well. Things are not going to be perfect at all times, but things are going to work out well in general, okay? And in the long term. But yeah, so that's understood. So this is what's going on. INTERPOL has shown up in the city of Miami, and since there was a planned revolt against all immigrants coming from Haiti in Miami, INTERPOL was called up, and since there was a planned revolt in the Haitian community of trying to keep Miami and South Florida Haitian instead of West Indian, meaning English-speaking Caribbean, or general or traditional African American, and so forth, when it comes to being black here in the state of Florida, we sent in INTERPOL once again, So this is what's going to happen. We're going to free up homes for my households, so all 3,000 plus families, and eventually it's going to be extended over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And eventually I'm going to get to the point of having almost 10,000 biological and genetic children. I'm going to father them. I'm going to biologically and genetically father 10,000 children by the time I'm done in 20, 30 years. Okay? 10,000 genius-like black CIA agents, auditors, and analysts who will be able to lead the United States out of moral debt toward paying up its restitutive judgment, for what has transpired over the past 500 years, slavery, and the abuse of African Americans in general. Okay, that's how the country is going to pay up. The Central Intelligence Agency is going to be led by the black interests toward forgiveness and redemption. Okay? So all of the households of these women that I do have children with, they're going to continue having children with me, and those who are to come later, they're going to have children with me and be moved to Miami also. Miami or South Florida, And this is what we are going to do with Miami. This is what we are going to do with Miami. We're going to make sure that Miami Lakes, Miami Beach, Miami Gardens, and Coral Gables, and all of these small towns and small quote-unquote suburbs of Miami will be incorporated within the city limits and will be officially neighborhoods within the city of Miami. And we are going to alter the course of calling the city of Miami Miami-Dades moving forward, beyond regional acclamation or beyond regional popularity. Eventually it's going to be back to the city of Miami, and we're not going to have to say Dade consistently. Okay? But the city is going to grow so much over the next 10, 20, 30 years that it'll be okay to say the city of Miami since it will at this point become a global city, you know, as the official capital of the Americas, the Union of the Americas, which will be created in 2049 with me as world president, the first world president, as Khalid Sundiata Hassan. Okay, so I'm going to be elected by the World Congress, the General Assembly of the United Nations, the UN General Assembly, in 2044, and I'm going to sign the Constitution, or the appropriate convention or delegation will sign the Constitution of the world, which will rename the United Nations and re-articulate the United Nations as the United Nations World Government. And I will be the first president and commissioner of the United Nations World Government, colloquially to be known as World President. Okay, so that's going to occur in 2044. But anyway, back to the topic, back to what I was speaking on. Miami is it will reform into being a large city, and not just a metropolitan, or it's going to be a large city and not just a developing metropolitan area or a small city with a developing metropolitan area. It's going to become a large city, and it's going to be infrastructurally sound, competent, modernistic, progressive, futuristic, and comfortable. Okay, it's not gonna overwhelm the senses. New York, that's its job, to overwhelm the senses when it comes to the articulation of architecture and design, skyscrapers and so forth. That's going to be left for New York. That's going to be left for Manhattan specifically. But Miami is going to grow, okay? And yeah. And yeah, this is what I want you guys to understand. I was the first Native American, in all honesty. I was the first Native American, and I magically walked into Miami Beach, actually. I was the first Native American, and we were what you guys consider Arawakan, what you guys consider Carib. It was me and my senior angels like Beyonce and Farrah and so on, and LaToya Luckett. They were with me. I do have perfect recall of this. Okay, we walked into from heaven. We walked into Miami Beach, and we lived on the beach to keep the mosquitoes off of us. I fished every day, and I was the first Native American. So the story that we provide about the first Native Americans being walking in from the Bering Strait and so forth, that is just a white lie. We did allow Asians to Asiatic people to magically appear in Alaska and Canada. And after I got to North America. Okay? That's the honest to God truth. We provide white lies in history for the purpose of human singularity, for the purpose of race relations, for the purpose of diversifying the human experience, and diversifying the cultural experience of people all over the world. So it's okay that we tell that white lie, and in history that the Asiatic people of the Bering Strait and so forth, Siberia, were the first Native Americans. That makes complete sense to believe that, and that's what's going to be articulated or communicated to our posterity moving forward, because they were the first people who literally migrated out of any other part of the world into the Americas. Literally did so. Me and my angels, in being the first human beings to appear in the Americas, was magical, was heavenly. We did not migrate from any other part of the world. We did not migrate from any other part of the Americas. We literally walked in from heaven, and we just knew what we were doing. Okay? So that's the difference. So it's not a white lie. It's technically true. This is what you guys can say. Well, you guys were just angels, and you guys magically showed up in Miami, and that's what you guys mean by that. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay? So this is how I decided all of these things. I decided who appeared there and here, this and that. I decided all of this stuff. I decided that Mandela would be the first sub-Saharan, the first Negroid to emerge in Africa. He was the first Negroid to emerge in Africa, the first human being other than myself. Since I was Adam, and I did walk across, Arabia to Africa back and forth. There wasn't a lot of sea back then, and I magically appeared in Arabia and Africa. Okay, but he was the first Negroid, and Mandela himself, he was the first Negroid in Africa, and Barack Obama was the first Aborigine in Australia. I put him to sleep, and I had him magically awake in Australia. Okay, and Martin Luther King Jr. was the first Asian who appeared in the first Asian. I put him to sleep, and I had him wake up in Asia, and so forth. This is not a lie whatsoever. Okay. So, what else? What else am I to say? And obviously, okay, so what else? I was going to say something else. I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, so I covered it up as Christopher Columbus, and Leif Erikson. I covered it up as Leif Erikson and Christopher Columbus. Okay? I was the first in the Americas, by all definition of the phrase, and so forth. And I want you guys to know that Mandela was consistently white or Western Asian for thousands of years, and so was Martin Luther King Jr. And there's no reason for you guys to believe that I'm saying that black people have been running the world the whole time. That's not what has been going on. We represent the particular paradigm, the particular structure of that respective era, and this and that. Right now, it's time for black people to get out of destitution and depravity, and to redeem themselves, and to force the world to beg for forgiveness without being offensive in doing so, without being offensive in begging the world to forgive itself for having neglected Africa and the African diaspora as much as it has done over the past 500 years. Okay, it's that time. It's essentially that time. This is it. Okay, so I'm pretty sure of this. What else was I gonna say? I'm pretty sure I was gonna speak on this topic. There's something else I was gonna speak on. I'm pretty sure of it. And yeah, naturally, I was my son, my holy son, was gonna be God over his own universe in 500 years, with this dimension, Earth and outer space becoming the second dimension, the governing sector over this universe, which is going to be formed. My son, Haile Selassie, Menelik, King Louis, the person who faked his death and ran to Switzerland, he was the first Neanderthal. He was the first European. Okay? He was the first European, and the Neanderthals, they were clearly human. Even though they were not modern human per se, they were clearly human and smart enough to be considered modern enough, okay? So he was the first Neanderthal here on this particular planet. On this particular planet, as the central planet of this first dimension, Earth and outer space. But yeah, okay? So I was Adam, and Beyonce was Eve. I was Leonidas, Spartan king and warrior. Before I was Leonidas, I was Hercules, Achilles. I walked into heaven and I walked back out, Leonidas, and I did create the Greek Empire. And Zoe Saldana was my wife. my queen, and so on. Okay, so I created every empire on this planet. I created every empire or kingdom in the universe. I really did. I created everything. Okay, so I was always the first emperor. I was always the first Caesar. Always the first pharaoh. I was the first pharaoh as Joseph, the Jewish slave who got captured and spent 7 years in prison and wrote the Torah in secret. That was me. I was the first pharaoh. We hide it in the Bible. Before I was pharaoh, there were only chiefs of a small, not even a kingdom, a small chiefdom called Egypt of rich Assyrians who found themselves in Egypt. Okay, so I was the first pharaoh as Joseph. That's the secret. And so forth. I was the first pharaoh as Genghis Khan. No, I mean the first emperor of China as Genghis Khan under a variated alias. I got a new body and I was known as the first emperor of China, after I did what I did as Genghis Khan. And we exaggerate in history about what I did as Genghis Khan, but I certainly was Genghis Khan. Okay? So, I created everything. So that's what I want you guys to understand. I know what I'm doing. We're gonna get to the end point. And this is end game. This is end game. White supremacy comes to an end right now. This is end game. Okay? This is the end game. This is it. White supremacy comes to an end. We're not gonna enslave white people. We're not gonna oppress white people, but it has to come to an end right now. That's it. And the reason why we allowed white nations and empires to lead for so many thousands of years, or white-like to lead alongside white for so many thousands of years, is because we are in black AI avatar in a high universe, and that's human singularity. Human beings, after they become blue immortals for 10,000 years, they become artificial intelligence in black avatar for the rest of eternity. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why it took so long to be able to get black people out of unpopularity into a stewardship role in begging the world to request its forgiveness, or their forgiveness, and redeeming themselves without offending the rest of the world or being destructive or oppressive. Okay, so you guys can look at the movie Artificial Intelligence. And you guys can see what we look like in the high universe. And you guys can look at the movie once the day the world stood still, or the day the world, the day the world stood still with Keanu Reeves. I am the 50 feet artificial intelligence being that guys do see. That's what I look like when I'm in the high universe. And it scares everyone, not interfere, but it scares everyone that God is actually here, and that our big brother is really as big as we say he is. In the higher universe, I'm known as Big Brother. In this universe, I'm clearly God over all. But my Father has allowed me to be secretly God, nominal God, known as Big Brother in the high universe. Everyone is about 10 feet tall, or somewhat. Well, I would say about 8 feet tall in artificial intelligence world. The black avatar AI bodies that you guys see in the movie, that's what they look like. What you see the day the world stood still, that's what I look like, 50 feet tall for the most part, when I need to show up to remind everyone that God is watching at all times, and that there's no external threat which is going to breach our security. There's no need to worry, and so forth. So I do fly and I do hover, and I am 50 feet tall, and my eyes are glowing red. And whenever I do show up in a regular AI avatar, just regular 8 to 10 feet tall, with my father and my mother waiting, everyone is always calmed down, and they mostly want to greet me, and so forth. Okay, they no longer just bow every time I show up, hovering before them, saying there's no need to worry. Earth is not going to be able to conquer us, obviously, and nor the universe will be able to challenge us or audit us ever again. Do not worry about it. and so forth. Okay? So I need you guys to trust me. Okay? I need you guys to trust me. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to verify that. I'm gonna have to confirm that this is me. Hold on. It sounds schizophrenic to folks not within the Central Intelligence Agency. All of this is going to be removed over the next few months. Well, within a few months, or in a few months, actually, in a few months. All of the video recordings are going to be removed by myself, myself. And so I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not a crazy person. I am who I say I am. I just needed everyone in NSA and the Central Intelligence Agency and INTERPOL and the United Nations General Assembly to know that people are not going to die. There's not going to be mass killings or mass casualty anywhere in the world due to this global war, which is clearly being staged. That this has to come to pass just so that we can evidence why human beings no longer will have nuclear warfare. At the end of this war, it'll be a thing of the past. We just have to document that human beings or the human journey got to this point and got past it. Okay? Everything has to be documented for posterity's sake and for revealing the narrative to the high universe in brief in what is going on here in Earth, and for our history books, our history videography, when I take you guys to the next level of blue immortality and those from heaven already to a higher dimension, the third dimension of artificial intelligence. All of this will be documented. Not everyone's lives per se, or every particularity of any person's life, but the narrative of how people lived, movies, everything will be documented for the most part for the rest of eternity. You know, all of the movies, all of the videos, all of the shows, and this and this and that. Okay, will be documented. All of the wars, all of the documentaries, all of the news broadcasts, everything will be stored for the rest of eternity, so that you guys can look at it for the rest of eternity, or instead look at what's going on beneath you guys in the lower universe for the rest of eternity instead, and this and that. Okay?